The Indianapolis Colts have been this close to being a Super Bowl contender over the last few years. Now with Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, is it time for the Colts to take that next step and become an AFC contender? What's going on, Colts fans? It's Mitch here of TheBottomLineView, here to give you my record prediction for the Colts in 2022, going game by game, giving you my thoughts on each matchup, my analysis on how they may fare versus their 2022 schedule, the good matchups, the bad matchups, and more. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and subscribe to the channel for more BLV NFL schedule analysis just like this. Also, comment below your thoughts on the Colts. Do you think they're going to be a good team this year? Do you think they're going to win the AFC South? How far may they go in the playoffs? Let me know in the comment section below, and let's predict some games. Colts fans, it's time to predict your record with Matt Ryan in 2022. Let's roll. Week 1, the Colts on the road versus the Texans. This should be a nice little warm-up game for you. The Texans not quite there yet, although they're feisty. They will fight. They will give you a game. And if you're not careful, Brandon Cooks will sneak behind your secondary and score a couple touchdowns. So, hey, I like the Colts here. They're the better team, the better roster, better coaching staff, all of it. But the Texans, they won't back down. But I got the Colts. They should pretty comfortably be able to win this one even on the road. Week 2. Okay, you guys struggle with the Jags. This is what I've learned over the last couple of years. I don't know what it is about Jacksonville, but it just feels like you guys kind of just suck there. So I'm going to take the Jags in one of these games. I'm just going to pick the first one. You know, maybe there's a little rust with Matt Ryan getting acclimated to the system and all that stuff. That's possible. Doug Peterson's a better coach than Urban Meyer and all that, and I feel like Doug Peterson can have these guys hyped and motivated to win this game. Jacksonville's defense is also better than I think people think, so there's the possibility for an upset here. Indianapolis, though, I mean, if they're on their A game, they should win. It's just, for whatever reason, it's kind of like my Patriots going to Miami. They just struggle in that spot. Don't know what it is. Week 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is an either way type of game. I think the Colts could very easily pull this one off. I think it's a one-score type of game. But ultimately, in that type of environment, I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes on the last drive to pull it out. I think the Chiefs probably find a way to pull this one out. But, I mean, it's a good matchup, man. I could see if Jonathan Taylor can run the ball and you can dictate pace of play and control the clock, and your pass rush can make a few plays, I mean, the Colts could definitely pull this one out. But I also think the Chiefs have a good offensive line to be able to protect Mahomes. They've got enough receivers, and Reed can decipher the zone coverages, and I feel like they're going to have enough of a plan to beat you guys on that side of the ball. So I think the Chiefs, it's real tough. I mean, you guys have beaten Mahomes, I feel like, in the past, or at least made it close with him. So week 3, got the Chiefs, but that one's interesting. Week 4, the Titans. I'm going to say you pick this win up. Now, you lost both times, I feel, to them last year. A lot of that had to do with Carson Wentz. I think this is where you see a difference in Matt Ryan. You might even see it the week before versus the Chiefs in a duel versus Patrick Mahomes. But this week, I think Matt Ryan at home outplays Ryan Tannehill. I think that's why you win the game. Now, both teams, I think, are tough physical teams. It's going to be a tough game back and forth. It's going to be a one-score game. I think Matty Ice pulls it out. Week 5, you play the Denver Broncos in Denver. Tough place to play on a Thursday night. I can see that one going either way. I'm going to hold back on that for a second and maybe come back to it, because I think that's one of those that could decide, you know, a record. So I'm going to hold for a second here. Week 6, you play Jacksonville. You get your revenge at home. You comfortably win that game after losing in week 2. Week 7, you play the Tennessee Titans again. I think the Titans split with you guys this year, but that's better than last year, right? I think Tennessee can be a deceptive place to play. I've seen a lot of teams crumble in Tennessee over the years for whatever reason. Derrick Henry can sometimes just get you and wear you down. Ryan Tannehill is a streaky player, typically better at home. Defensively, they are stronger than I feel people think. I think they'll be stronger in the secondary this year. They've got a good pass rush. They can disrupt you. So I feel like Tennessee with Mike Vrabel, tough to beat him twice a year as well. Week 8, Washington. I think you guys are comfortably better than Washington, but they're a sneaky team because they've got a good front four, and Carson Wentz it's his revenge game, so you never really know there. But I do think you're better than the Washington football team Commanders. Let's go with that. Week 9, you play the Patriots. I've already given my prediction for this game as a Patriots fan. I will let you know that this was actually, I held off on this game until the very end. I ultimately decided to go with New England because the game was in New England. I feel like this is very close. Last year, you beat the Patriots. Carson Wentz didn't play his best game, and you still pulled it off. Jonathan Taylor was dominant down the stretch. But this one, I feel like could go either way. I think the Colts are probably more talented, but, you know, Belichick, tough to beat him 2 years in a row. Mac Jones, evolving as a player, should play better than he did last year. And their receiving core offensively should be better. I think the Patriots could win that game by like a last-second field goal type deal. Week 10, you play the Raiders. I'm going to go with Josh McDaniels beating the Colts here, which is going to be interesting. But the Raiders got a really tough offense. For now, I'm going to give that to the Raiders. That one might be another one where I come back. That's another game that I could see going either way. And that one might hinge on the performance of the Colts pass rush. If they can get to Derek Carr before he can make those decisions to get to his receivers, then they can win that game. But I feel like the Raiders, if you give Derek Carr time this year, he's going to dice you up because he's got so many options with Renfro and Adams and Waller, and they can run the ball with Jacobs. Defensively, I think they've got a good pass rush. So they're a good team, man. Week 11, you play the Eagles, which is a nice coaching matchup there from some of your former coaches. Frank Reich, though, gets the last laugh versus the Eagles. I think you guys slow down Jalen Hurts and their running game and take it at home. Week 12, you play the Steelers, and typically you don't beat the Steelers, but this is Monday night at home. You should take care of business. The more talented team, hype team. It's hard to get upset at home on Monday night with every eyeball on you. Week 13, you play the Dallas Cowboys. I think you're going to beat the Cowboys in Dallas. I think you can run the ball on them. I think you can possess the ball. I think you can disrupt Dak Prescott. And they don't have all the weapons that they have had in the past. I think Gilmore can do a good enough job on CeeDee Lamb to win that game. Matt Ryan pulls it out. Week 15, after the bye, you play the Minnesota Vikings. That one is a close one. I feel like you guys are pretty similar, honestly. Like, the way you play offense is pretty similar. I think you guys have the better offensive line. Cousins and Ryan are pretty similar as well, to be honest with you. You know, they have better receivers. You probably got a better running back at this point. Defensively, I think you're stronger. Minnesota's a tough place to play. That one's another one I'm going to come back to. The Colts have a few of these games that's really difficult to decide. I think week 16, I'm going to go with you guys at home over the Chargers. I think the Chargers are really good, but I just like you guys on Monday night at home in your building with the crowd. I think the Chargers may struggle with your ground attack, even though they've improved in that area defending the run. I think you guys can do a good job of, you know, getting to Herbert, forcing a couple big plays on defense, and then offensively, I think you can possess the ball and control the clock, and Wright can have a nice game plan that way versus Brandon Staley's defense. So I like the Colts there on Monday night. I think you beat the Giants, and then I think you beat the Texans to finish the year. So ultimately, what do we have right now? We have 10-5. Okay, so I'm going to say that you lose one of these games and you win one of these games versus the Broncos and the Vikings. So I'm going to say that gotta think about this one, to be honest with you. The Broncos struggled against the run last year. Russell Wilson did dice you up last year also, though. Mile High, Thursday night, prime time, tough to play there. New coaching staff. You guys are the better coaching staff, though, I would say. I'm going to go with the Broncos to beat you guys. That's really close. And then I'm going to say you beat the Vikings. That's what I'm going to go with. And I'm going to say you finish 11-6, which I think is a very nice record. It's an improvement from last year by 2 games. And I think that's warranted, as I think you're better on defense in the secondary, especially with Gilmore there. And I think you're going to be better at quarterback this year. I also like the additions of Alec Pierce, as well as Yannick Ngakoue. So I think the Colts are a good team, and I think they can make something happen in the playoffs because they're a unique team with their ability to run the ball in January. So I like the Colts this year. I think they're the best team in the AFC South. I've got them going 11-6, 4-2 in the division, 6-6 in the conference. That's interesting. 7-1 at home. All right. That is it for my prediction for the Indianapolis Colts, though. Best team in the AFC South, making the playoffs. Let's go, Colts fans. Thanks for watching. Peace.